everything happens in South Florida, including Super Bowls. We've hosted a bunch of them, and they've been a blast. One in particular, and I've got the bullet to prove it.
I've been to 4 Super Bowls.
Really?
Yeah.
And what was the experience like?
It was fantastic.
Do you remember any of the scores, any of the teams?
Not a chance.
Coach Vince Lombardi, the man for whom the NFL championship trophy would be named, led his Green Bay Packers to a second straight title with a 33-14 win over the Oakland Raiders at Miami's Orange Bowl in Super Bowl II. A cocky Broadway Joe Namath guaranteed a victory over the Don Shula-coached Baltimore Colts, and he delivered a 16-7 victory in Super Bowl III at the Orange Bowl. The Colts beat the Cowboys 16-13 at the Orange Bowl. The Steelers beat the Cowboys 21-17 at the Orange Bowl. And they did it again, 35-31 3 years later, which would be the last Super Bowl at the Orange Bowl. The brand new Joe Robbie Stadium would host what many consider to be one of the best Super Bowls of all time. But there was more to Super Bowl 23 than just the game. This was the command center for one of the wildest weeks in Super Bowl history. Police brass, fire rescue, city and county elected officials, community leaders, State Attorney Janet Reno, and hundreds of journalists from around the world gathered here to cover what came to be known as the Super Bowl riots. It began a week earlier when then Miami police officer William Lozano shot and killed Clement Lloyd on a motorcycle on Martin Luther King weekend. Lloyd's passenger would die days after the ensuing crash. Lozano would be convicted, then acquitted on appeal. 8 people were shot and 1 died during the 3 days of rioting that followed in Overtown. More than $1 million worth of property was destroyed. About 1,000 police officers were called in and more than 300 people were arrested. If you were driving through the mean streets of Miami on that night, you risked getting a rock thrown through your window, getting shot at, or having your car set on fire, especially if you were with the news media.
Well, the aftermath of the situation showed just what the damage was, besides some of the people that were hurt. At 940 WINS, WINZ, the news radio station, a colleague of mine, Jim Loney, had his news car burned. We were unable to get it out the night of the rioting, so he had to come out in my car. His got left behind. Later on, our news director found a bullet casing, not in his car, but in another car that had been at the scene. So these are artifacts that go back to that fateful time in 1989.
I'm somewhat surprised at the number of shots being fired.
Do you know what kind of weapons? I heard reports everything from shotguns to Uzis to handguns being seized. Do you know what the range is?
We were busy ducking, so I don't really know. But we know that there were a number of shots being fired.
Are they taking advantage of the Super Bowl?
Well, I don't want to say that, but hopefully not. We're looking for a good Sunday and a good Super Bowl. And may the best team win, the 49ers.
Chief Perry Anderson called it. Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers beat the Cincinnati Bengals 20-16 on their last drive of the game. Years later, it would be 49ers 49, San Diego Chargers 26 at Joe Robbie Stadium. Same place, different name, where the Denver Broncos beat the Atlanta Falcons 34-19 at Pro Player Stadium. Same place, different name, where the Indianapolis Colts beat the Chicago Bears 29-17 at Dolphin Stadium. Same place, different name, where the New Orleans Saints beat the Indianapolis Colts 31-17 at Sun Life Stadium. We haven't had any Super Bowl riots since, but some players have been arrested for drugs and prostitution. And don't get me started on those fans who go looking for trouble.
So I was Tom Brady for Halloween, and I decided I would make this trophy. And people were a little angry on Lincoln Road and South Beach, but I enjoyed it.
With another chapter of South Florida's dubious history, I'm Wayne Roustan for the Sun Sentinel.